And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Wooldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Yes, indeed, we are here again on a Sunday evening. Welcome everyone to episode 24, or a changed episode 24, I should say, of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me once again is my co-host Steve Wooldridge. Steve, good evening again.
Yeah, even
How are
Tom.
you?
Well, these things happen anyway, but it's a pleasure to be with you and everyone watching at home and on Spotify later during the week.
Yes, so for anybody that's sort of tuned in and gone a bit late, we've had some technical issues and we are changing the episode. So we're saving what we were going to originally do for next week's episode. And we are doing a live Q&A. So you can ask myself, you can ask Steve, or you can host the other chap who is joining us this evening in the comments section. Ian Hartley. Ian,
Hey.
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to you two as well, and I'm glad you can make it.
So am I.
We've never been away.
So you have no idea. Literally, I've been buzzing for this episode like all week, and then it's all gone to pot. So yeah,
These things happen, don't they?
Yes.
Can't be helped.
Absolutely. So we are here for an hour. We are going to be ending this at 9 o'clock this evening. Because that's when we were going to end the show that we had planned, but we're going to save that for next week. So we're here for an hour to answer any of your questions. You can ask us anything, and I'm going to put it out there. It doesn't have to be aviation related. So let's just see how spicy things do get. But let's quickly just run through some housekeeping just while we're here. Follow us on our social medias, which are on Instagram, Discord, Twitter. You can find us on Spotify if you want to listen to this episode back, and of course Facebook as well. All links are in the description below. Like I say, we are on Spotify, so do find us on there if you want to take us with you anywhere you go with the rest of the episodes that we have done already. And of course, if you wish to be a guest on the show at any point, we are taking bookings for the next sort of couple months now. So yeah, if you wish to come onto the show, whether you've been on or not, give us a shout and we will go from there. Let's get into it. Ian, we'll jump over to you. Couple of comments in there, so we'll say hellos again.
Yeah. So we've got Aviation 19 saying hi. Julia, I'm not going to try and pronounce your surname this time, Julia.
No
Hey
offense.
guys, if you could fly with any airline, no matter if it exists or not anymore, on any type of aircraft, to any place, which would they be and why?
That's a good question.
You can answer that in a minute.
thanks.
Bradley Penny Aviation's also saying evening goal.
Hello.
And Aviation 19's opinion, the 757. But we can move on to those questions after we answer Julia's question, if that's where you would like to start.
Let's start with Julia's question. I'm going to actually go with you, Ian, first. If you could fly any airline, no matter if it exists or not, which one would it be and why?
I don't know. If I could fly any airline, anywhere, and why? I think going back to the old Pan Am days, I'd love to go back to the beginning of commercial aviation. Obviously, when Pan Am, they had these boat planes, didn't they? And I'm not sure what type they were, but I think I would like to go back and experience something like that, just to compare it to what we're experiencing these days, because that's something that you're never going to get back, isn't it? That's going to be a memory what I'd make of your life, isn't it?
Very true.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to do that.
Would be fascinating to go on a flying boat. I think that you've got like your twin otters and stuff like that now that have got like floats and stuff. I don't think it's quite the same as actually sort of using flying on a flying boat.
Yeah, I mean,
like the big old Sunderland, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, them pilots, they were built like Popeye, weren't they? They had massive steering wheels, didn't they, with chains, controlling rudders and things, and they were hanging off these steering wheels, weren't they, trying to turn these things and what have you. So, proper days of aviation. None of this fly-by-wire stuff.
Fair amount of spinach in those pilots.
Yeah, bit of spinach on the go to get it round the corners.
Bit of spinach goes a long
definitely.
way. Yeah. Steve, obviously to you, if you could fly any airline on any type of aircraft that either exists or doesn't, what would it be?
See, this is more of a route, and it doesn't exist anymore, but it did, and it's always fascinated me. And it was the old A318 London City to Heathrow via Shannon. It replaced Concorde, and it just fascinated me that the smallest aircraft in the fleet was going transatlantic. So I'd love to have sort of gone across on that to see what it would have been like in the hospitality on that.
Long old flight if you're leaving London City to go to Heathrow.
To New York even. Without notes, this is all very tricky.
It's all very impromptu.
Apart from that, the either the Emirates or the Etihad, the first class where you get like a full-on bedroom and lounge and all that would be absolutely amazing to say you've experienced that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like the idea of the 318 going transatlantic in that. I mean, Jeb Brooks, we were talking about this, weren't we, not long ago, and is it something like 37 seats or 60 seats or something on this?
It's not many. It's all business, isn't it?
All business class
rows.
and what have you.
Yeah.
It's just a different life, isn't it, doing something like that? And like you say, with the Emirates, I'm not sure which one it were. Is it one of the 380s? Might be one of the new 777s, I'm not sure. But they've actually got, rather than having the first class area, you've actually got a suite, haven't you? Your own sort of room, if you will.
Yeah, no, it's like a hotel, isn't it? You've got a shower, your bed, a lounge, massive TV, and all that kind of business.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lottery win away, isn't it, at the moment?
Oh God, yeah, definitely.
So you've gone for the 318 then on that
short hop to Heathrow.
Short hop to Heathrow via Shannon. Yeah.
Yeah, plug the sat nav in.
By God, that's a long way to go just to go to Heathrow.
That one.
I'll answer the question. I've got like two. So in terms of military, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this weekend I actually get to fulfill this one. But I've been in a Rapide, which for those that don't know is a very, very old like airliner / sort of army aircraft sort of thing. And I'd like to have a go in a Tiger Moth. Just purely for the open cockpit experience. I'd love to do it. And what I'm doing this weekend coming, which I'm not going to spoil just yet, but little event has a couple of Tiger Moths there, so I'm hoping to blag my way onto one and explore Cornwall in an open cockpit. So that'd be quite cool. That'd be quite cool. I don't think that'll happen, but yeah, that's sort of a desire of mine. In terms of, I mean, in terms of actually like an actual airline / aircraft and that, I think just to say you've been and done it. I'd like to have done the British Airways 747s.
Yeah, definitely.
But I had always wanted to fly on British Midland as well for one reason. I don't know why. Just part of me wanted to kind of do it. But aircraft-wise, now I would say just say you've done it is the A380. I don't think it matters what airline you fly for. Just to experience that flight on a 380 before they go, I think would be quite cool. But
I think they're going to disappear before we know it, aren't they?
I think so. I think I'm not going to be able to have an opportunity, but I want to fulfill my dream on flying a 757 before they disappear as well. So, yeah, quite a few for me.
Oh, yeah, and the 19, the old retro one as well. You're quite keen to get on, aren't you?
I'm keen to like either photo it or film it. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to. I think there's too many for me at the moment. I think that's probably what it is. I think there's too many. But I would stick with probably the 380 or the 757 just to say that I've actually done it.
Yeah, no, they're decent shouts.
Yes.
Definitely. And I'd love to have experienced in it back seat of a Tornado. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that's never going to happen either, is it? So, but that would have been an experience.
Jump seat of a Vulcan at Fast Taxi.
It's incredibly cliche, but obviously Concorde gets an honourable mention.
Concorde will always, Concorde will get a mention. We try not to mention Concorde because it's obvious, but I think we all would have loved to have experienced that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Ian. Next question.
Right, so we've got Aviation 19. What's your opinions on the 757? Blast you first, Tom, and then that'll keep us going for about the next 25 minutes, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, because I was going to say I'll try and keep this nice and short now. But
we may as well talk amongst ourselves here.
Yeah,
talk amongst yourselves for the next 25 minutes, just while I explain about the 757. No, I love the 757. It's my favourite aircraft. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. I probably have more 757 models than I do any other aircraft. I absolutely love it. I've said this in so many episodes, but I just wish that they had re-engined the 757 as opposed to bringing out the 737 MAX. I'm on that bandwagon of believers that should be what have happened. But the day that they finally do leave the skies will be sort of, I think for me on a personal level, will be just as sad as like Concorde leaving. That's just how much I love the 757. So that's my opinion.
Am I right in thinking on your on the page's Twitter recently you shared a post and there was an airline that had actually ordered some 757s, or did I imagine that?
I'm going to say you probably imagined that.
No, I definitely saw it. I'm going to have to go through it. But
we're on Instagram?
Yeah, on Twitter, I believe it was.
Was it Twitter?
Yeah, there was someone who'd ordered some 757s. Or they were changing up to 757s. But
are you sure?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I'll have a look. Bear with me.
Have a look, yeah. We'll talk amongst ourselves. Ian, your opinion?
It's I don't know. I mean, I haven't got the love for it like you have. I mean, I appreciate why you have it. It's a fantastic plane, and it's certainly, I mean, how old is it? It's quite an old.
Entered service in 1983, so
1983, yeah. So it's like, so it's quite old, isn't it? But again, I think it's just, I don't know, Tom. I think I might be with you on the re-engining. I think they could have re-engined it rather than replace it. But I don't think we're going to see the end of it just yet, are we? I think what tends to happen with things like that. I mean, I'm looking at an Icelandair one now, and they use them for the cargo, don't they? So I would imagine that a lot of these are going to be, just turned into cargo, aren't they? Into cargo planes rather than.
They're very good for cargo. Like DHL rely on them very, very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously going off the back there, DHL have obviously one of the old British Airways ones with the original RB211 engines that actually came out originally, and that aircraft is what, approaching 35 years old. So it's obviously very reliable for cargo and stuff, and especially on the short hops as well, because you can get a bit more in it, whereas you're not using as much fuel if you were to send a 777 across to like Leipzig from East Midlands or something.
That's the beauty of it, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Even though they do that anyway, but that's because it's coming in from elsewhere, sort of thing. So, but yeah, for short hops and stuff, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, you've got the best of both worlds, I think, haven't you? Its size, it's not too big, but it's big enough, and like you say, it's good for short hops and things like that. So it's a shame it couldn't be replaced replaced with a like-for-like model rather than replacing it with something totally different, and doing away with it.
I mean, I'm slowly warming up to the fact that the 321 Neo is going to be basically the replacement for the 757 because it does a bit more in sort of such a smaller capacity sort of thing. So that to me is where Airbus probably looked at it and went, well, we can fill that market with a smaller plane that we've already got. If we just re-engine it and modernize it, and I think that's probably what Boeing should have done as well. But they obviously saw the 321 Neo and went, well, we'll change it out with the Max as well, the 737 Max as a competitor. But I think if you were to sit and go, would you rather cross the Atlantic in a 737 or cross the Atlantic in an A321 Neo sort of thing? I mean, both you wouldn't anyway, but if you had a choice, you would probably choose the Neo because it slightly resembles a 757 as well.
Yeah, it's not a 757, though. That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you're never going to replicate that sound either, are you?
No.
Oh yeah, that post was about United Airlines' first new livery on the 757.
Oh, did I just when I shared a picture, wasn't it?
Yes,
shared a picture of the first 757 to be painted in the new United livery, which is obviously good signs that they're keeping them for a bit longer.
I'm sure I hadn't imagined it, but there it was. Yeah,
they also ordered the 321 Neo as well, so there'll be times where the older ones will start to leave as well. But I imagine that's what they're there for, is just to basically replace them. But got a good few years out of those yet as well. So quickly then, Steve, your opinion on the 757?
Oh yeah, well, it was. I've not actually seen one in person, but I believe it was Johnny on episode 19 described it as the hooligan of the skies.
Yes.
So it sounds terrific that it's so overpowered and so kind of ready to go and a challenge to fly, obviously. But I would like to see one at some point, that's for sure.
I can't believe you've never seen one.
No, because last time I went to Heathrow, Icelandic Air showed up in the 767 and I spattered it in disgust.
It's a real mix between 767s and 737 Maxes at the moment. You'll see one, I'm sure. I'm sure one will pop down to Bournemouth now, so it will.
I don't know. I think we'll have to go to Heathrow and get someone to go fund me to get up there, perhaps.
Sounds like a plan, Batman. Right, Ian, next question.
Well, Bradley Penny's put on any future plans for the podcast. What are the future plans?
Ooh, very good question. Keep it nice and short. You'll get to see our ugly faces very, very soon. And we've got some big guests lined up, I should say. So watch this space is probably the best way to put it. Yeah, you'll see our ugly mugs very, very soon.
That all sounds exciting.
You could sound excited.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah. There are some big things happening in pipeline. Like you say, just watch this space and keep your eye on the socials, and you'll get to find out what's happening.
That's the only way you'll
not
get
to give
know.
Anything away.
Yeah, that's the only way you'll get to know is if you follow us on our socials and sub to the channel, I suppose. It's the only way you're going to be able to find out what's happening, because we don't mention it on air. We only mention it on the socials and stuff. So give us a follow over there if you really want to know what's happening.
Definitely right. We've got grey blue. I think this is going back to the question what Julia asked about which aircraft, and she's put she'd go on a TAP Airline because she really likes the design.
You'll be having words with her soon.
Oh dear.
Someone's got to like it.
Would you guys? Sorry.
Someone's got to like it.
Yeah, even if it's just right. And she's also said, "Would you guys ever bring out merch?"
It's something that we've considered, but I think we need a bit more of a following first. We do have some sort of merch ideas in place, but it's whether you lot would want to see them or not. And I'll tell you what I shall do. I'll put a poll up in the comments, so we can see what people think. But I'd like to think down the line we will probably do that.
Yeah, I think for the kinds of numbers you're talking about at the moment, I think the kind of numbers you're talking, the merch is quite expensive if you're only buying small quantities, isn't it? Printed merch. I mean, David. I don't know what David Hutchins has just done then, Steve, but he wants to see a mug with your mug on it.
Oh dear.
Anything is possible with Photoshop nowadays.
Yeah, I'll make him one up. He can have it as a special. I'll even sign it for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he'd love a Stephen mug.
Yeah, anytime.
Right, going back to the questions. Tom's poll just covered the question thing up, so let's put an end to that. Where were I? Yeah, Plane Spotter 555. Good evening, guys. What's your favourite show aircraft? I think Steve can answer this after his Bournemouth Airshow excursions over the weekend. Steve?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, the obvious answer is the Reds. They're unbeatable. They're the best in the world. But for sheer noise, ability, and sort of wow factor, I'm going to have to go for the Eurofighter. Sort of, it just knocks the spots off with the sound of it, the speed, the agility of it. So the Typhoon was what I was looking forward to seeing the most today.
Yeah, I think I'd have to totally agree with you. My two most memorable ones were at Cosford a few years ago, and we had a B-52 doing a flyover and a B-1B bomber that flew over as well. They're two things I'm never going to see again, but they really, really do stick in my mind, them two. So I would definitely say the Reds and any, I don't know, anything with a jet engine on back for me.
The final flight of the Vulcan a few years ago at Bournemouth was incredible. Like to hear the howl,
astonishing.
Yeah,
absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, astonishing. Yeah, I think for me Vulcan was fantastic. I saw it twice. One at Farnborough, 2010, and then obviously the last one that it did at Yeovilton. I've been quite lucky to see at Biggin Hill Virgin 747 and the Reds sort of in formation. That was really, really cool. Always good to see Battle of Britain memorial flights. I just think it's got that sort of sentimental kind of punch to it, where you hear like the Merlin engines and the Spitfires and things like that, and you think, you know, what these people must have felt and gone through to, you know, race to a Spitfire or something, and go and intercept like the German Messerschmitts and stuff. It's one of those that just hits you, I think. So again, but then also like the Rafales, the Dassault Rafales from the French Air Force, I think are probably up there as one of my favourites, because they are astonishing, and half the time they're painted up nicely as well. So astonishing noise that comes from them.
Yeah, my brother would have said the Lightning, hands down. He absolutely loves the Lightning.
Oh, what I would have given to have seen the Lightning in action. I've seen plenty around, like on the road, and like at museums and things like that. But yeah, just astonishing. Like the way that aircraft is it just looks so intimidating. It's crazy.
It was just a rocket with your seat strapped at the top, weren't it? The Lightning, and I think I might be wrong, but it's the only English fighter jet never to see active duty.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's never seen active duty.
The other one I used to really, really like was the Sea Harrier. It used to do the vertical takeoffs, didn't it?
Yeah.
They were really good.
Yeah, we used to get a lot of them when they were refitting them up at Wharton. Obviously, they used to build the Lightning there, and used to see when I was a kid. You used to see them, but it's like, I don't know if you look up at Sky and see a Typhoon now, and it's only when they've actually gone and years later you sort of, you really really miss them kinds of planes. And it's same with the Harrier. When they were refitting them, they had a load up here, and they used to sort of go down the runway, like hovering down the runway and things like that, testing the systems out and things like that. They're absolutely fantastic things, the Harriers. They really were.
Yeah, no, incredible. Yeah, basically anything that makes a noise, isn't it, when it comes to air shows?
Yeah.
I will just quickly say the poll is now live in the comments for you to vote whether you want to see us release some merch in the future. And if you vote, I'd also like you to comment what you would buy if we did, just so it gives us an idea for what to release in the future. Let's move on. Ian, over to you.
I just want to pick up on a comment what I'm Rick. He's put, what's the subject matter tonight? So if you could just reiterate on what happened earlier or whatever, just to sort of explain why we're doing what we're doing now.
Certainly. So tonight we are here for an hour to do a live Q&A. Our original topic was going to be major airlines that left our skies, ranging from, I'd say like the ones that we looked at already were Air Berlin, and we were heading on to Pan Am before we had issues. So we're saving that for next week's episode. And tonight you can ask us literally anything. Doesn't have to be aviation related. Has to be sensible, because we can't. We're not going to answer things that are a bit much, but we'll decide what's within reason and what isn't. And yeah, we're also talking about merch. So if you want to see merch released, put a yes in the poll, and then let us know what you would buy, just so we can get an idea for what we could potentially release in the future. So yeah. Also,
so I've got a question for you both as well.
Yeah, go on.
When you well, if you were a pilot. So you're both captains now. You're both sat in your captain's seat, and you've got your co-pilot at the side of you, rather. Now, obviously, I'd be your first choice, but who would you have as your co-pilot? And it
Not
could be
you.
Absolutely anybody, apart from me, obviously.
Not you. So it could be anybody, could it?
Yeah, absolutely anybody. It doesn't even have to be anybody aviation related.
Go on, Steve. I'll let you go first.
Well, I think the sensible answer is to have someone competent, because I wouldn't have a clue. I could tell him what the time was and that we were sort of the right way up. So you'd have to put. Well, to be honest, Sully, the chap who landed it on the Hudson, would probably be really, really interesting. Like his years of aviation, sort of talking through that and learning off someone who's obviously right at the top of his game would be like a wealth of knowledge.
Did you also say about knowing whether the plane was upright or not?
Yeah.
I've seen you play Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't think you've got any experience in that.
I know it's upright until I try and land, and then anything happens.
Yeah. If it's a blue above me and green below me, I'm all right. So I just
look at
basically
Ian,
flying on those two colours.
Look at Ian agreeing like he's always mastering the landing every time.
Yeah, Ian, you've got no grounds to kind of back yourself up on this one either. We've also seen your landings; they're not great.
But yeah, famous wise, who would I want? I don't know. Don't know, but someone like a famous musician, someone like that, sort of Freddie Mercury, someone sort of really famous to pass the time with, but from a practical point of view, definitely someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually, that, to be honest.
Well, I would say definitely not one of you two, seeing as you don't know which way the plane's supposed to be upright or not. But I think for me, probably the sensible option would be Johnny.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun having sort of Johnny as your co-pilot. But if you're going to go somebody famous, as a co-pilot, I don't know. I think you want somebody with a good sense of humour. So I'm just trying to think, really. Something like a Bill Bailey or something. I think that'd be quite cool.
Yeah. What about you, Ian?
I think for somebody sensible, I'd think someone like Glenn Quagmire. He seems like a competent pilot. Or Family Guy.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably just have I don't know, someone who's as daft as Peter Griffin perhaps at the side of me just for a laugh. To be quite honest, someone like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter Griffin?
Yeah, Family Guy. Yeah.
But yeah, at least you'd be laughing as you came hurtling into Earth, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know, to be quite honest. It's just something I wanted to ask you to. It's not something I really thought about myself, to be quite honest.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, go on.
In fact, no, I'm going to. I'd quite like to have Nicolas Cage.
Well, you saw how that ended up for him.
Why didn't you put the bunny down? Anyone knows what film that's from, put it in the chat and I'll be super impressed. Why don't you put the bunny down?
Dear Casey, I'm sorry I missed your birthday.
Anyone knows what film that's from, stick it in the chat. But yeah, I would probably say like a Bill Bailey or something. Someone you can have a good sort of chuckle with, I think.
Yeah, that'd be
definitely somebody you can pass time with and have a laugh with, definitely. Right, David Hutchins, bucket list flights for you guys. His would be Harbour Air to Whistler from Vancouver, or Winner Twin Otter into St. Bart's.
Let's go you first, Ian.
I mean, does it have to be a commercial flight? Because I'd like to do, again, going back to fighter jets, I'd like to do something like the Mike Looper Dunmail Pass or something like that. You know, some low-flying, hugging the ground sort of action. I'd love to experience something like that.
David Hutchins will tell us if that's allowed or not.
Oh, okay. But bucket list flight. I really don't know. I'd love to go up and see Northern Lights and things like that. I don't know whether they still do them or not, but they used to do the Northern Lights experience, didn't they, where you take off and fly around and come back again same night.
Yeah, you've sort of stolen into what I was going to say. To see the Northern Lights would have been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so something like that'd be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, you'll have to think of your own answer now. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go for it. Let's go for Kaitak, just for
beautiful.
Oh yeah,
just for the pure buzz of it, to see what that would have been like. Or what's the it's escaped me. The airport was really famous for the crosswinds.
Funchal, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Funchal. Yeah.
Just to see what that. Well, it's not really bucket list. It would probably be brown pant list, but still, it'd be interesting.
I mean, not so much like a route, but I would like to go to St. Martin. That's kind of like on my list of once sort of everything returns to normal. If that ever happens, I'd quite like to go to St. Martin just to experience that rush that people get. Other places I'd like to do the approach into Innsbruck. It's always a nice little fun one to do. Can't really think of any others.
Is that where you drop down over the top of mountains?
Yes. Yeah, not like you do in the sim, but yeah, close enough.
No, I landed on. I did that, and I actually sort of got to end at runway, but I was still rolling, and I turned at the end and ended up down somebody's street.
What about Interlaken with the lakes up either end, if you know it, in Switzerland? Yeah. You sort of come down through the valleys and the mountains, and it's just the runway with, say, a lake up either end to try and get onto.
Can't say I've ever thought about that. No,
No,
I can't
I've
say I've
never
ever
seen
thought
that
about that one.
Oh well, David's managed to get the poorly kind of guest film right, so we've
He did.
just about got it right.
He did. He did well there. Wasn't the best impression, but at least someone got it.
Yeah.
Right, I'll ask this question to you guys. This is from Britain Aviation, who was last week's guest, so good to see you this evening. He says, what career would you guys like to pursue?
Well,
You have to be aviation related.
I suppose anything. What career would you guys like to pursue? Could be anything, I suppose. Until clarification, let's say anything.
Right. Okay. Well, one thing I always wanted to do was to become a ghillie or something like that on a lake, and just go out fishing with people for money. Just taking people out fishing and getting paid for it. I'd wanted to do that all my life, to be quite honest. It's not aviation related, but yeah, that's a dream job for me. That, or even run a lake.
Interesting. Steve, what career would you have liked to have pursued or want to pursue?
Oh, professional gambler, everything on black, lovely job, retire, see you all later. But in reality, I don't know. Well, something like a professional groundsman on a professional football pitch would have been really, really good when I was younger.
Mm.
But if we're going for aviation now, it'd be great to become like an official photographer for British Airways or any sort of airline to do their official photos for their internet pages, social media, that kind of thing would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be quite cool.
Yeah, that would be.
I've always wanted to work at an airport, like ground crew. Very nearly came close to it at Exeter, but missed out by the fact that 2 people had experience and I didn't. So, had they not applied for it, I'd probably be working. Well, I probably wouldn't be working there, but I would have worked there at some point. I suppose in another way, I'd quite like to do this whole podcasting thing on a full-time thing, but that's obviously clutching at straws. I still think the airport side of things would still be still think the airport side of things is a career that I'd like to pursue, sort of thing. So, ground crew would be a lot of fun. Definitely be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely like the tug drivers and all that, to be that close up to the aircraft.
Going inside the aircraft and things like that. Just anything like that, really.
Yeah, that would be really good to be that hands-on with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate to say it, but the boat's definitely sailed on becoming a pilot at this point.
Yeah, that was going to lead me to the next question that Ian was probably going to ask, which is the same one from Britain Aviation.
I've lost me. So I'm sorry.
You've lost
I've just totally lost where I'm up to here. He's put Britain Aviation. Any plans on becoming pilots, guys? So, I had a test flight years ago, and that's probably about as far as my flying experience has ever got or will ever be. I'd like to have a go on a proper simulator. I'd like to have a go on an Airbus simulator, but a proper, the moving ones rather than the static ones.
Yeah, I think like if anyone who's seen me on flight sim when I'm not actually endangering anyone's life or actual aircraft would know I'm well away from it. But to go on a sim or something, go on a them without damaging anything would be decent. But I think as a full-time occupation at this point is probably not for me now.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same sort of boat. I think I would pursue it in terms of light aircraft sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Just a private pilot.
Yeah, fly out of the local sort of grass strip airfield in a light aircraft would be good fun. But
so I've got about 8 or 9 hours under my belt, which I think would probably need to be refreshed. So it's kind of like a third of the way there. But then obviously the pandemic hit, so I had to sort of stop that. But yeah, I'd like to kind of do that sort of side of things again. Maybe try and sort of go a bit further, really, and see what happens.
Yeah, worth pursuing. Just even if you're just sort of bimbling around the North Devon, Cornwall coast, or whatever, it'd be nice to do it on a Sunday afternoon or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think as a pilot's job, I think find something like a Cessna Citation or something like that. You know, I've seen like airclip videos of them, and you know, just shooting halfway across world with somebody and bite somebody rich and famous or something in absolute pure comfort, really, aren't they? So I think doing something like that rather than being a sort of commercial pilot or something like that, I think that'd be a fantastic job.
Yeah. Going back to the whole merch side of things, like I said, there is a poll in the comments. Julia Zernicow, close enough. I'm going to go with it. Says she'd like a mug or a T-shirt. So if you have voted on the poll, we want to know sort of the main goal is we want to know what you would buy if we were to launch merch and stuff. It is sort of in the plans, so we want to see what you guys would be interested in. We don't want to release anything that's not going to be bought, sort of thing. So we want to get an idea really for anybody that's voted or hasn't voted yet. Do vote in that poll. It will end by the end of the stream. And if you do vote in the poll, also leave a like on the stream as well. That would be very, very appreciated. Yeah, I'd like to go with the whole learn like fly a small plane and kind of be able to kind of maintain that. It's just finding the funds, I guess.
Yeah, it's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not, unfortunately.
And the time as well to do it, you need as well, don't you? So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think even if you had your PPL, I think even going down to your local airfield and renting a plane for a couple of hours or something, I think that'd be an arm and a leg as well, wouldn't it?
I think so. I don't quite know what the price is. If anybody knows anything about that side of things, obviously do put them in the chat. We'll read it out. But also continue to get your questions in as well. We are technically here for another 15 minutes, but if you want us to stay longer, hit the like button. And if that number shoots up, we'll extend our stay maybe for another half hour. Who knows? But yeah. So Steve, you attended the Bournemouth Air Show.
Yes, yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, well, Saturday I went actually to the beachfront, and the conditions weren't great. It was very, very hazy, so the photo opportunities weren't brilliant. But the Battle of Britain flight, which had the Dakota, because the Lancaster unfortunately had gone tech, was very good. And then we had obviously the Red Arrows, couple of sort of stunt planes and some parachute displays, as well as the Chinook down there. So it was interesting. It was good. But today I actually went down to the airport where the planes come in to land, and the views were so good. Like the photos I managed to get today of the Reds coming in and Tornado and a few other bits and pieces was so much better than yesterday. It was really worth going down there for it today.
Yeah. Fantastic. And of course, we for those that didn't know, obviously there was an incident that happened, so we do send our good sort of positive vibes out to those that were involved. Thankfully, they are all right. So,
yeah, particularly the emergency services and the sort of professionalism of the organisers of the day to sort of keep everyone informed without sort of panic and everyone. It was very well done for what was obviously a difficult situation.
Definitely. There is a question that we have missed from Julia, so we'll bring that into this one. Into question now. She says, guys, favourite aviation themed movies?
Oh, do you want to go in?
Well, I mean, Connor's a classic, isn't it?
I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again.
What's the one with Harrison Ford?
How to Land on a Taxiway?
I don't even get to the taxiway.
I can't think. The only ones I know off the top of my head are like Airplane, Con Air.
Oh yeah, they're class, aren't they? Yeah.
My absolute favourite is Sully because of the way that it was documented. It's so good.
I would say Snakes on the Plane, but you could probably put it around your roses to help them grow, that film. But maybe Top Gun. That was sort of an early memory of aviation films. I think when you're younger, it was quite exciting seeing those flying around and what have you. But I'd have to go with you with Sully being a very, very good film.
Sully is wonderfully produced because it's not just getting an idea for what happened, but it's like the mindset of the guys involved and stuff. So it's so I could sit there and watch it all day, like over and over. It's so good.
Yeah, I didn't realise until watching the film that they actually, rather than sort of treating them as heroes for saving their lives, they were sort of hanging them out to dry and trying to find all these reasons why he didn't manage to put it down somewhere like properly. Yeah.
I think during it, like while that's happening, while they're trying to sort of find a way to kind of almost like punish him, you sort of sit there and go, you nasty bunch of so-and-sos.
yeah, quite.
Still can't say it because we're not past watershed yet, but you nasty bunch of so-and-sos.
Yeah. Air Force One. That's what Plane Spotter 5. That's the movie I was thinking of. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a massive movie buff, so I've not actually seen Sully, to be honest.
How have you not?
I know.
What is...
So,
I'm hiring the wrong people
right.
for this podcast, I'm sure of it.
Yep.
Maybe we should talk amongst ourselves. Hot Shots.
Hot Shots.
Hot Shots and Pot Shots Part 2. Remember that?
Doesn't he... Yeah, he does a handbrake turn, doesn't he, in the middle of the street or something ridiculous.
That film is how I discovered Charlie Sheen, but wouldn't put that down as a aviation film.
It's got aircraft in it.
Home Alone, then.
Star Wars
Home Alone.
I mean, they fly.
Yeah, technically Star Wars is a aviation film because they do a lot of flying and they're just futuristic aircraft.
Absolutely, yeah. I will all be there one day,
You still couldn't pay me enough to watch it, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not
I am
not my
agreeing
cup of tea.
with Tom on this. Yeah, Star Wars and Star Trek and all that's for children.
That's fair enough, isn't it? I mean, that's when I fell in love with the franchise. So when I was a child, and it's just stuck ever since. So
you know how we said that this is like a no holds barred podcast, and you've just basically called what do they call them? Trekkies, don't they? They call them Trekkies, the fan group.
Oh
yeah. I'm not a Star Trek fan. Just Star Wars for me.
What's Is there a group name for Star Wars? Waries or something?
I don't know. No,
I don't think so. Something like that.
No, just Star Wars fans.
Star Wars fans, yeah. So Steve's just called Star Wars fans children.
Apart from the one subscribing, they're lovely.
I think it's a bit late for you to try and save yourself now.
I'll put that on a par with I'll put that on a par with TAP Aviation slagging Star Wars off. Before not go there again.
No, each to their own.
Yeah, definitely.
Nasty.
Grey Blue. I didn't know there were any plane themed films. Oh well. He's still watching Peppa Pig and God knows what anyway, so that doesn't really matter, does it? And Julia's, Plane Spotter 555 Air Force One is quite cool. It is a good film, Air Force One. It really, really is. I mean, they're not related, but is it Olympus Has Fallen and things like that? I watched all them. They're really good, but they're not aviation related. What was the other one I'm thinking of?
Oh, I'll tell you what,
Independence Day.
Yeah, I'd throw Castaway in. Castaway as well, I'd throw into it, the first sort of bits of it.
Castaway, was that the one with Oliver Reed in?
No, Tom Hanks, the FedEx, and he ends up stranded on the island there.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Oh, come on, Ian.
How have you not seen Castaway?
Oh,
come on now.
Come on, it's bloody hell. No, I haven't.
Castaway is the perfect depiction
I'm more of a
how
science fiction kind of guy, to be honest.
Castaway is
horror film.
No. Castaway is like the perfect film on how Hermes delivered their parcels.
Oh, is it right?
So you've never cried over Wilson? Unbelievable. I'm shocked.
No. Final Destination. The first one.
You can't use that as an aviation film.
Okay. Well, that's where it all started.
No. We'll go back to things like Airplane and things like that, like Con Air. You know.
Fair dues.
Final Destination, like you can't use that.
Right, fair enough. Well, I'm going to say Air Force One then, and you two are going to say Sully, obviously, aren't you?
I'm going with Sully all day long.
I'm going to go with Castaway just to be different.
Fair enough. I'll have to watch Sully.
That's literally your homework for this week while I'm away.
Right, okay then. I'll have to see if we can find an illegal stream somewhere with it on.
Don't admit that on stream.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure I'll find it on Netflix or something, Warner.
No, you're not. You'll find it.
Yeah. I've got Amazon, so I'll have a look on Amazon. I'm sure it'll be there, won't it?
Fantastic. Grey Blue had a good giggle at your Peppa Pig comment.
Yep.
I'm sure she's more than chuffed with your comment of Peppa Pig.
Nah. Well, she knows it's true, you see. So no, she's watching Love Island The Reunion, to be quite honest.
Ooh,
so
no.
So,
get her to watch Sully with you. Just enjoy it.
So Ram's looking through comments now, see if there's anything else we can.
Well, just a question to you two. What spotting experience have you had that you take to the grave with you, which sort of hasn't ever been beaten and not likely to be beaten?
Do you mean in terms of
your favourite spotting experience?
Yeah.
Mine would be my recent one at Newquay with the G7.
Yeah, that would take some doing.
It's really close. It's really, really close because there's. It's close because I'll tell you why. Because the G7 spotting was fantastic. I got burnt more than a properly cooked lasagna, but it was worth it, and it was fantastic seeing all those aircraft. But there is a day that I remember. There's 2 days that I remember when I lived near Heathrow that I did spotting at. One was in 2010, and this was with the British Airways strikes that happened, and they had to substitute aircraft in to fulfil the flights. And this was the first time that we saw Jet2 arrive into Heathrow operating scheduled flights for British Airways. Transavia were there as well. Off the top of my head, I think there was an airline called Viking as well. They were there. They operated some.
Qatar did a lot for them as well, didn't they?
This is different. This is a different one. This was big. Like this, I think this lasted a week or so. Literally, they had to get in like Jet2 757s, 737s. Titan came in with their 767 to basically fulfill these flights. That was a day I'll never forget. But then there was another spotting day that I spotted my one and only 737-200 and Tupolev 154 in the same day as good old Aer Lingus A330, which at the time was super rare. This was back in 2008 now. It was super rare to see one, and it obviously subbed in for a 320. Because I think a flight had been cancelled in the morning, so they obviously chucked everybody on a 330. And 737-200, and just trying to think, the light was perfect. It was absolutely spot on as well. it's a day I'll never ever forget because it was just amazing to see 737-200, Tupolev 154, and Aer Lingus's A330 all in one day. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that does sound good. What about you, Ian? Have you got any?
And nothing really on a scale of that. I mean, I'd go back to like air shows and things like that where you just see. I remember going to, you two won't remember. Well, Steve, you might. The Finningley Air Show, which is now Robin Hood Airport, isn't it, over in Doncaster there. I went to Finningley Air Show straight after the first Gulf War. So, and they did a dogfight using the proper tornadoes, still in the desert pink paint scheme, and they did a simulated dogfight around, a roundabout and things like that. That's something what's always stuck in my mind because I don't know. I'm just a massive lover of anything tornado related, and to see. I remember being static displays of tornadoes with like bullet holes in tail and things like that, from like the anti-aircraft weapons and things like that. There was stuff like that there, and it's these are like real planes that have been active, and obviously you go back to these Spitfires and things like that, but to see these still raw straight from a war zone and then put into an air show and put on display for people to see, that's always that's gonna stick in my mind. And obviously seeing the B-52 and the B-1B other year at Cosford, that'll be something I'll never witness again.
Mine's sort of bittersweet because it's the final BA-747 that left Bournemouth after storage during the lockdown there, and we knew it was off to sort of be retired. So to see that final one was, well, it was amazing to see it, but it was tinged obviously with sadness that was the last one I'd see flying.
Yeah, I think Plane Spotter 555 sort of reiterated the same kind of thing, and he's put the diversions from Gatwick to Bournemouth, or the BA fleet arriving into Bournemouth in 2020. So.
Oh yeah, he should be doing his homework. By the way, he shouldn't be doing this. To be honest.
Can you tell how much we love our audience?
Yeah,
I did say earlier on that I'd say that because he's obviously back to school tomorrow and he hasn't done anything. So I had to give him a message to say that he had to get on with his homework.
Oh, sounds like me when I was at school.
6 weeks off, last day. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, doing it on Bullshit morning, going to school.
Yeah.
So we are literally 3, 2, 1. We've now hit the hour mark, and we were going to we were going to leave and have this run for an hour. We'll just quickly do a quick separate poll in the chat. I think we're all happy to stay for an extra about half hour or so.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you want to see us stay for an extra half hour, we'll give you a couple minutes. Thumbs up for yes, thumbs up for no in the chat. But it's been successful, I think, in terms of now that we've managed to get a show together.
Yeah, well, yeah. As again, these things happen, don't they? It's unfortunate, but the show's prepared and ready to go for when we're ready to do it now. Yeah,
it'll be next Sunday. We'll be doing what we should have done this evening, and sort of anybody that's in the chat or watching that was watching before with the issues. Thank you for coming back and spending the last hour or so with us. So yeah, like I said, if you want us to stay for an extra half hour and you can ask us a bit more aviation stuff, put a thumbs up into the chat, or a thumbs down if you just want us to bugger off and leave you alone for the rest of the week. But yeah, just while we're waiting for that to happen, just very quickly, any spotting trips coming up for you two?
Well, off the back of last week, I think Bristol's definitely on the agenda. I'd like to go up there and then see Kemble after it, while all the sort of retired 747s are still there. So that's definitely on my to-do list.
Yeah, I've nothing really planned. No, not at all, really. I might pop up to Wharton, see if anything's flying about there. I mean, the Qatar Hawks are starting to come off the production line a little bit now, so they tend to be flying about a bit in the yellow primer. So, they're worth looking at. Still doing some Typhoon testing and things like that. So, yeah, I might pop up there, see if anything's flying about.
Just quickly, I'll give you a minute or two to have a look here while Tom comes up with his answer. Is any news on the A350 Qatars coming back into service? Just while Tom's chatting about his future trips.
I mean, I can have a little look. I'll have a little look on Google, see if we can find anything. Just talk amongst yourselves and give us a minute, and I'll have a look.
Nice one. For me, I think there's trips to Bristol. I think with the way that like staycations have been quite popular, this sort of year or so, roads have been very, very busy. So I've sort of wait for the roads to quieten down a little bit before sort of trekking out to Bristol Airport and that. So Bristol's on my agenda. I'd like to go back there again, and just try and get to sort of as many as I can, really, over whatever time I've got, like as in from work, not literally like not going down the grim side of things, but from work and that. So it's just whatever the time allows me to do, really. Like Bristol's definitely back on my list of things to do. Bournemouth for the 340s as well. I'd like to be able to do that.
Even today, with all the cool stuff flying around, it was still a real pleasure to see that one come in today, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Get them while you can.
This Winter's Lane, then, you can park down there, can you? There's no restrictions as such?
No, so there's like a pulling in place, like a little lay-by sort of thing, and you can park in there. It's all lined out and everything, so, as long as you're parked in there, you'll be pretty much good to go.
Because Bournemouth have... they've sort of done everything they can to get rid of spotters recently, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
Like, particularly Air Show, overnight yellow lines arrived on the roads, and they've been policing in down there, issuing tickets and all sorts. They've been really quite kind of anti anyone spotting down there, which is a real shame.
Be interesting to see if that... Yeah, I'd say... excuse me. Be interesting if that stays sort of after the air show.
Yeah, well, certainly the yellow lines are now permanently down to stop you doing it. And I know certainly a lot of the youngsters used to have access to a viewing area next to the terminal, which they stopped you doing even before the air show, and blamed it on, I don't know, the COVID and what have you, and they've just made it as difficult as possible to spot down there now, which is a real shame.
You'd think it'd be the complete opposite, wouldn't you? Just to kind of help people out after sort of being cooped indoors for so long, and now we're all back out and being able to do what we can, and it's like, nope, don't want you out here.
Well, it's just little things, like they say, go to the Bournemouth Museum, which is absolutely fantastic as a standalone thing. And they got viewing platforms, which sounds brilliant, only they stuck a massive dirt mound on it and planted trees on it, so you can't actually get a clear view of the apron anymore. It's just little stuff like that. It's just really odd.
Yeah, I mean, going back to like the Winter's Lane sort of thing. Actually, no, we'll stick with the Bournemouth thing, because PlaneSpotter 555. Not only has he put a crap ton of thumbs up in the thing, so we might stay for a little bit longer. But he's put Bournemouth security with a rolling eyes face, so I think he knows kind of what it's like.
Oh yeah, he's on first name terms with the armed police down there, which is pretty special.
Good thing or a bad thing?
I think they're quite decent to him, but there's a lot of curtain twitchers down there, and I think they like to just ring up and say you're up to no good when you're not.
Yes, it's a shame, really.
But all of that said, I wouldn't discourage anyone going there as long as you can find decent spots where you're not going to upset anybody.
Yeah, very true. But going back to the Winters Lane sort of thing, if you have a look on Google Maps and stuff, you can see where the line is sort of dotted, so you can actually see where you're allowed to park, sort of thing.
Okay, I'll check that out shortly.
Yeah, definitely worth sort of having a look. Julia has also put a thumbs up as well. So I think we'll stay for another, what will be now, 25 minutes or so. We'll stay to about 9:30. Why not? We'll give our viewers exactly what they want. But yeah, so if we are staying, obviously, like I say, get any questions in you want to us. They can be anything. It doesn't have to be aviation related. Just if you want to get to know us, You know, that's what we're going to use this time for. We'll answer any questions that you have. Ian, have you found out any more sort of info yet?
No, there's been absolutely nothing. It's quite weird why it's only affected Qatar's fleet, and they won't accept any more new aircraft until they actually resolve the matter, which I totally understand. There's been 134 Airbus cancellations, including 7 in July. That's Czech Airlines ordered for 4 A2-2300s and 3 A321XLRs have been removed from the airframe's backlog. That's Czech Airlines, so they've cancelled a lot of orders. And from what I was reading, they've only managed to deliver 2 A350s recently. One to, I think it was China Eastern, and the other one to... I can't find it now. We're writing it. China Eastern. I'm
gonna probably just jump in and say that there is no other sort of changes and stuff.
Nah, not at all. No, oh yeah. Oh no, that's Volaris for 2 A320 Neos. No, I can't see anything. No, there's no change at all. So that's I think that saga just rumbles on a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does.
When you were living in West London towards Heathrow there, what was the showstopper for you, Tom? What was the one that would always sort of stop you in your tracks?
Gosh, so I'm just trying to sort of think really. So I lived in a place called Feltham. People know it because they see pictures from Feltham Park of the like planes banking to the right sort of thing. So they get like really good shots. But so I lived in that town. Showstoppers for me, barring obviously the obvious, which was Concorde, that used to scream over my house, and set car alarms off, house alarms off, etc. At about 1,000 feet, I think. So they were very low.
Oh yeah, still low.
Super low. Any sort of heavy aircraft was still super low. God, the ones that I remember, Sri Lankan A340s, they were always super heavy, and you wouldn't see them pop over the rooftops until sort of they were sort of almost side on with you after they sort of banked out and that. So you could normally see them coming, and then because they were so heavy, like it was just nuts, absolutely nuts to watch them. Any sort of A340 that used to go like from Virgin that used to go to like America and stuff used to do a complete sort of 180 right over the house, and they were still quite low then, so you could feel the rumble like through the windows. Other sort of aircraft that come to mind, Pakistan 747s, you always knew that they were coming. Any sort of 777 really. So funny story, I lived about five miles away or something from Heathrow, and even when a 777 landed on 27s, which was well away from the house, you could still hear it reversing. That's how loud the engines are. People don't really know how loud the engines are, but it was super noisy, and that's when you knew. And when they were taking off and going off of 27s, which was well away from the house, you could hear it spooling up, and that's when you knew a 777 was on its way out. mental, absolutely.
Oh, wow,
crazy.
yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
The noise out of a 777. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, showstoppers really. The old 727s that used to fly for Yugoslavia before that became Serbia. And Iberia used to fly the 727s as well. Remember them fondly. British West Indian Airways, TriStars, 747 SPs from Iran Air, Syrian as well. That's a proper rare one. So many you could think of. It's crazy. So many.
Yeah, I dare say, like, we're obviously all massively into to aircraft and what have you, but to live down Myrtle Avenue probably does wear a bit after a while when they're arriving at 4:30 until sort of gone 11 at night, I'd imagine.
Not if you love planes. I think you'd get used to it so much.
I totally agree, yeah.
I think if you don't, that's what I'm saying. I think if you're not a huge fan of it, it would soon sort of grind into you a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't like planes, I think you'd move house, don't you? And then let somebody who does like planes move in.
I would
true
never
enough.
ever
Allowing
move.
you.
Yeah, I'd never ever move if I lived down Myrtle Avenue. Never.
No, likewise.
You'd have to drag me out kicking and screaming every time.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, we're
We
moving
still
away.
get the
No, we're not,
727
absolutely
fly over here,
not.
don't we?
Yeah.
The oil response
the
one.
oil, yeah, the oil response one comes down to Newquay sometimes as well. And
Yeah.
like I say, I'm under the flight path for the arrival sort of into Newquay, so from anything up north. So from time to time, I'll sort of know it's here, but every time I've heard it or sort of know it's coming, it's normally quite cloudy. So I'm yet to see it on a clear day.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did get that DC-10 last week, of course.
I did, yeah. The U.S. Air Force DC-10. That was interesting. That was a good. Because I think you told me about it, so I ran out and got it on my phone. That was pretty cool. Not phone, camera on my video camera.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, David's just come in to say the Red Irish flew over his garden yesterday afternoon, so he got himself a personal show.
Personal show, very nice.
Fantastic.
It's like the Reds knew where you live.
Yeah.
Also, a new name to the show, which we've not seen so far, so hello to you, is Matteo Mariano, who says, "Good evening, guys. Love the 777s." So hello to you, and thank you for tuning in. And let's say I don't think we've seen your name before, so if it is your first time viewing us, welcome. It's good to have you here. He also says that he was spending 40 hours a week at Heathrow last summer, never got bored. Oh, those are the days. Oh, those were the days where you could just finish school, go to Heathrow and spend so many hours there, and at the weekends you'd be like, your friends like, do you want to go out and play football or go out and get drunk? Nah, I'll just go and watch Heathrow, like plane spotting and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
those were the days. But yeah, I'll ask this question and we'll go with, let's go Ian first. PlaneSpotter 555 says, what's your favourite cargo airline? I can't tell if he's thinking or if he's there.
No,
he's there.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm definitely here. My favourite cargo, I mean, for me, I think it has to be a cargo look 747-8.
Good shout.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Other than that, it'd be Icelander 757.
Great shout. Steve?
Well, there's absolutely only one answer you're getting from me, and got to be European, just because it's saved Bournemouth from a sort of closure during what's been going on. And I still don't get bored of them. They're absolutely amazing seeing a free 4600 come into Bournemouth.
Great shout. Great shout
yeah,
as well.
definitely, yeah.
Favourite cargo airline? I've got a favourite cargo livery, which is the West Atlantic livery on the 737-800. That is a super smart looking 737.
Yeah.
You know what I'm on.
Is that the one with the black tail with the first
the swishes?
737-800?
Yeah, proper smart that is. In terms of favourite cargo airline, I've got to go with what David Hutchins says. Probably DHL.
They've got some real kind of battle cruiser aircraft as well, haven't they? Some of those are proper brutes.
Proper chuggers, as I call them.
Yeah.
Proper workhorses, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
I just think it's nice to see a bit of colour. Like I say, I'm kind of the kind of person that if you're going to have a livery, like, I want to see a bit of colour on it. Don't want it to be Euro white, etc. Although, to be fair, Kalita isn't too bad. Even the new livery, like, people hate it because it's lost the cheat line and stuff, but I still think it's quite smart. If you haven't seen it, Google it. I like it, but I'd like to know everyone else's opinions and that. But I quite like it. But yes, Matteo Mariano again says, my first time watching live, always catch up on the last shows. Normally busy, great to be here live. It's great to have you here.
Oh. Yeah, his next comment's a good shout as well. The FedEx MD-11s as well.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a great shout. That's another great shout. I think cargo airlines have got something a little bit different to sort of your standard airlines because it's. So let me throw this out to you. Which sort of division's got the more exciting livery, do you think? Because I know you've got like Eva Air and even Air Cargo. They're the same livery, so we'll scrap that. But if you think about just purely sole like cargo airlines or airlines themselves, which division or which side do you think's got the better livery? I think it's a bit of a tough question, but I'll throw it out there.
I think it's two different birds altogether, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking. I watched your clips and I watched. I forget the name of the pilot now and his two co-pilots, but they did the 777 and they've also done the MD-11 as well. And to see one of these cargo planes even in the same livery as a regular plane, I think it's just something different about a cargo plane. I think it's just something more raw about it. They're doing what they're built to do. Where you look at your passenger planes and they're all a bit, they sort of tread different, aren't they? They're sort of mollycoddled. I think that's the good word for it. We a passenger airline where you get a freighter, a cargo plane, and it's just like it's never going to get washed. It's going to be absolutely filthy. It's going to roar and chuck black smoke out at the back, and it just does what it's been built to do. And I think that's the difference between the two, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the cargo tend to have a bit of a retro feel to them somehow, like the KLM cargo and the Korean Air cargo without the passenger windows. It just seem to look a bit sort of more retro than the passenger versions.
I know what you're on about. Yeah, I know what you mean. It like I say, it just feels so much more kind of like different. For example, what is it? Is it ABX Air, which is an American cargo airline? Like a cheat line and stuff looks like it's something from the 90s or the 80s sort of thing. Kalita again, God knows how long that livery's been around. But that's got a proper retro feel to it. I'm trying to think of cargo airlines off the top of my head. Obviously, DHL wouldn't sort of fit that thing because they had a livery before that. Maybe FedEx as well. Like FedEx that livery's been around for a while. So, yeah, again, it's two different feelings, and like I say, the cargo just tends to have that bit more of a retro feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like a cargo. David Hutchins as well. All Nippon Airways, Boeing's 7 Star Wars. He's obviously, I think he's going on about the liveries at the moment. So
yes,
and Smurfs and Tintin with Brussels Airlines.
Cracking liveries there.
Yeah,
I've never seen the Smurfs.
No. I think my favourite one I've actually seen was the Icelander, the Aurora one. I forgot what it's called. The Heckler Aurora, I think you call it, don't
Aurora
they?
Borealis.
Yeah, that flew into Manchester.
Yeah.
That was lovely. That thing. Yeah.
Is that your favourite livery that you've seen? Like, and the question goes to Tom as well. What's the favourite? Let's go special livery that you've seen.
Oh. Well, obviously we know Ian's one. I haven't seen the Icelandair special ones. So I've seen the BA World Tales. I'm a big fan of those. Back in the day, didn't film them, but I've got some on like what do you call them? The cameras that you go get them processed, film process. What do you call them?
Photographs.
No, not. There's a name for it, isn't it? What the photos themselves? What are they called?
Prints.
We'll call them prints. Screw it.
Negatives.
Yeah, developed pictures. There we go.
Yeah, photographs. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, go on.
So I've got some sort of pictures of them on there. In terms of recent ones, I have seen the Smurf livery, which is quite nice. I'm just trying to think of what would be the one of the best ones. Do you know what? There's so many. Again, I'll let you go, Steve. Talk amongst yourselves while I think.
Well, the Landor was a particular favourite. Any retro, I saw the retro tap, that was really nice. The Aer Lingus retro was properly nice. I have seen the Tintin Brussels Airways, which was equally sort of unusual and nice to see something a bit different at Heathrow rather than their standard livery. So I'd say one of those.
I think they're all quite nice, aren't they, in their own special way, aren't they? It's just nice to see something different.
I'll tell you what, one that I have seen, which I've not got a picture of it, but it'll stick with me. I've got a model of it. I actually bought one recently. Bought a model of it. Is because I've just seen a comment from Matteo Mariano again, and as soon as he said Malaysian flag, I was like, of course. I want to say it's called Hibiscus, the livery on the 747 Malaysian, where it's like it's almost like a red fire sort of look to it. You know the ones I mean?
I think you sent me a photograph of this, and we had a chat about it a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah. So there was the red one, which was on the 747, and then there was a blue one that was on the 777. I can't think what the blue one was.
Yeah,
called,
I'm thinking. Did you have the plane on FSX?
I had the blue one on FSX.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Yeah,
that was 777. But the red one, I'll see if I'll just get it up onto the stream just before we.
While you're doing that, evening to Ryan Bomer, who's joined us from Montana in the USA.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, hello to you. Thank you for joining us. Is it hibiscus? No. What's the? Sorry, just chat amongst yourselves. I'm just going to try and find this picture.
So any sort of special livery, like Ryanair sent down the Boeing livery plane a couple of weeks ago, like the pure kind of Boeing colour scheme, and I missed it unfortunately, but that would have been nice to see. Yeah,
it's the Dreamliner livery they call it, don't they?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that one in Manchester. I'm thinking, what other one as well? Was there I beg your pardon, an Aer Lingus 320 with the rugby squad on the side of it as well? I've got photographs of that one. That were a good one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also, one of my favourites were the old Etihad. Before it's just the old Etihad livery. Yeah, that's the one, Tom. Yeah, the old Etihad livery, the gold one with the that had a red cheat line down the side, didn't it? With the with the eagles on the tail.
Yeah. Speaking of Etihad, Matteo's come in and said that the Visit liveries are really nice, and I'd have to agree with them there. I've seen the New York and Tokyo one in person, and they're both really nice.
Okay, right, yeah. I can't say I've seen any of them, to be honest, but I know even the Manchester City livery, if you're not a football fan, it's a fantastic looking plane. If you don't like Man City, you're not going to like it, but it is a really nice. And what's the other one called? The Green Liner, they called it, or something.
Got Green Liner. Man City one
that's a nice livery as well.
Beautiful, and that's coming from a Chelsea fan. It's lovely, really, really nice. The Visit liveries are quite nice on the Etihad ones. And anyone remember the Formula 1 A340 600 they had?
Oh, yeah, I do recall that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
they've had some really nice liveries, haven't they?
Stunning, absolutely stunning. But yeah, the picture I put on the screen is the 747 I was mentioning just now, which was the Malaysian one, one I've recently bought a model of. Absolutely stunning, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's certainly different, isn't it, from the usual Malaysian livery, that's for sure. Really striking, it's nice.
It really is, isn't it? It's proper striking.
Always drew a crowd as soon as they knew that was coming in.
Bet it did.
Yes.
Yeah, not surprised.
But yeah, we'll go through a couple more comments, and then we'll sort of begin to wrap things up. Did we speak about David Hutchins saying he remembers seeing? I'll see if I can grab a picture again. I can't pronounce that word. But
not the Nalanji one.
No, not the Nalanji. No. South African Airways. They painted a 747 in a quite stunning looking livery. I will get the picture. Just if you want to carry on, just reading the comments out, I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Nalanji Dreaming one, the Qantas one. Now, that was the one where BA got their idea for the World Tail, weren't it? In a nod towards Qantas, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
Yeah, they had the Nalanji tail, didn't they?
Well, yeah, old Margaret Thatcher didn't approve, did she, of the BA World Tails, that's for sure.
No, she did not. And this is going to be a cheeky plug. If you haven't seen that episode, it is in the playlist. Go have a look at that episode. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
going
definitely.
through each and every single episode. It is each and every World Tail. But it is 3.5 hours long. So if you've got a spare 3.5 hours, well worth having a look at. This livery here is the one that David Hutchins is on about.
Yeah, it's a unique one, isn't it?
From South African Airways, yes. Another one that also drew a crowd. I can't pronounce it though. Where is it? No, not even going to attempt it.
No, I can't say it either. No, I wouldn't like to.
No.
Disneyland. Nen Disneyland.
We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
But that was a stunning livery. You'd always see that from wherever it was parked. You knew that was you knew that was just that was in. And if you saw that was just incredible. Always, because obviously South African took off quite late at Heathrow. So if it was a summer's day and that, it looked perfect against like the setting sun. It was fantastic. Really, really nice livery.
Yeah, it's obviously another one that's unfortunately consigned to the history books.
Sadly, yeah. Remember Singapore with their tropical livery?
I can't say I recall it myself, no.
I'll grab a picture. I did show Ian the other day because I downloaded it for Flight Sim.
Yeah, I think it's ringing a bell. I mean, even all Southwest's special liveries as well. They're all nice looking things, aren't they?
Let's just grab this picture here. In fact, no, we'll grab that one there. So yes, we'll just quickly go through a couple more, and then we'll begin to shut this down for the week. I think it's been quite a show this week. It's been a lot of fun. There is still a little bit of time to get the votes in on the poll, and of course tell us which merch you would buy if we were to release any. That would be appreciative, because then it helps us out in knowing what we can release in the future. Right, so coming up is... Where is it? There it is. This one. This little stunner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, it got scrapped because one of the planes had an accident. There was 2 planes painted in it. One of them had an accident, and then they removed the paint off of the other one straight after.
Yeah, real shame.
It is a real shame, and it is a lovely aircraft. That it really, really is.
Might do an episode on special liveries. I think there's so many you could talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of. It's one I only recently discovered. They're called Fuji Dream Airlines.
Fuji Dream, yes.
Japanese, and they have. I think it's a fleet of Embraers, but they're all painted different colours. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic looking planes.
Very, yeah. They're unique. That's what makes them sort of special, really. It's just the fact that they are unique.
Yeah, they are really, really nice. Yeah, I really like those planes.
Julia says, thank you so much for the podcast tonight, guys. I'll be saying good night. So thank you for popping in and watching us this evening. It's been thoroughly appreciated. If you guys want to say bye to her as well.
Yep, bye, Julia. Yeah.
See you, Julia. Take care.
Yes, look after yourself. Matteo Mariano says, how about the Concorde Pepsi livery?
Oh yeah, striking in blue. Obviously, associate Concorde with being white there, but it did look good and something a bit different. I dread to think how much Pepsi paid to have that splashed on a Concorde, but still.
What do you think of it, Tom?
It's very odd to see a coloured Concorde in terms of like all branded up in Pepsi sort of thing. Considering how you would have had to keep it down because of the paint, the fuselage stretching on supersonic stuff, and to be able to paint it all blue for Pepsi and stuff. It's weird, but I don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. It didn't look right.
Yeah,
it's just they've messed with iconic, haven't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A couple more comments which we'll just quickly go through, and then we'll start to wrap this up. David Hutchins says he liked the Japan Airlines sort of special liveries. I think the Risocha liveries that they had, which were sort of flowers and things like that. I've got a model of one actually. It's limited edition. Do you guys know that one, the Risocha liveries?
I'm not familiar with them, I'll be honest with you.
Have a Google of them. They are pretty spectacular.
Probably have some. I'll have a look now.
Yeah, they are pretty spectacular. The Thunder Dragon on the Royal Bhutan was cool. Thunder Dragon on the Royal Bhutan. Don't know that one actually. I don't actually know that one. But you also did agree that the blue Pepsi didn't look right at all. I think David Hutchins is actually on about the Crane livery. I think that's the original livery, maybe, rather than the Risocha liveries. And Matteo Mariano says, think that he read that you couldn't fly the Pepsi one supersonic because the paint wouldn't handle the heat. So there you go.
Yeah, it sounds about right, that, doesn't it?
It's a marketing strategy then, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think it lasted long, if I'm correct, as well. Just purely because of that. But yes. Well, we have gone well over our hour target, and we've stayed for an extra 36 minutes, which is fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for getting involved with the Q&A. I enjoy doing these. This is only the second one that we've actually done, and the first time that you've done it with us, Steve, as well. So, big thank you to everybody that's commented and contributed to the Q&As. We'll do more of these in the future. What we'll do is now we'll begin to wrap the show up. So what we'll do, we'll take this opportunity to give some shout outs, which is our favourite time of the show. We'll go with Ian first. If you'd like to give some shout outs.
No, not particularly. No, just a shout out to yourself, Tom, and a shout out for Steve for what's turned out to be a really, really interesting show. And it's, we've had a good chat about things, haven't we, and what have you. So, yeah, that's really, really good. Yeah, so that's about it, really. And a shout out to everybody who's been in the chat, and yeah, thanks for your contributions as well. It's made it an interesting show. It really has.
Fantastic. Before we move on to you, Steve, obviously people are saying a big thank you to everything. Big thank you to us for the show. It's been a pleasure. David Hutchins says, let me know when the Departure Lounge merch is out. You can find that out if you want to follow us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter, or whatever it is you can sort of find us on. Facebook will probably be a good shout, because we'll probably mention it on there as to when it will be out. So like I say, links are in the description below. Steve, over to you for your shout outs.
First of all, shout out to everyone who organised Bournemouth Air Show this week, and it was very successful and enjoyable. Yourself and Ian again for a good show, despite it not being exactly what we planned. It's been a good evening, and just everyone who sort of watched and stuck with us despite the troubles we had earlier on. So thank you all very much.
Definitely. Ryan Beaumar says, "Is Joe no longer part of the show?" Sadly, no. He had to walk away, unfortunately, from the show about a couple of weeks back now. So no, unfortunately, he's not part of the show anymore. I'll go into my shout outs. First of all, frontline workers, NHS, healthcare workers, key workers, anybody that plays a vital part in the sort of rebuilding process of the country. A big salute to you, and continue your hard work to help us sort of recover from what's been very odd last sort of 18 months or so. A big shout out to you two for sticking with the show despite the issues that we had. Obviously we shut the original stream down and we were like, right, what should we do? And then we came up with this idea. So teamwork is fantastic. So a big shout out to you two for helping putting this together this evening.
No, thank you. I've missed an important shout out and I'm going to get told off. So one for David, who's my David Hutchins, one of my oldest and best mates. So I'm sorry I missed you on my shout outs just now.
I'm sure he'll be proud, chuffed that you've mentioned him now.
Yeah, because he messaged me saying, "Where's my shout out?"
Brilliant. Who else shall I give a shout out to? Everybody that's watched and commented as well and contributed. It's been a lot of fun this evening doing this Q&A. And like I said, in the future we will be doing a few more of these. Just because I think it's nice to have a good chat and a bit of a chin wag, really. So, big thank you to everybody. 100%, so 10 votes? What happened there? Votes? 10 votes for yes, please, on the merch release. So, watch this space, indeed. You will probably find out on Facebook. So, if you're not following us on Facebook, head on over there, give the page a follow. Keep up to date with everything that's happening with the show. Likewise with every other social media platform that we are on, which again you can find in the description below. So, next week we are doing what we should have done this week, which is the major airlines that left our skies. So we've got it all planned, so there's no prepping or anything to be done, which is fantastic news. Because we've already got the notes and stuff, so it should be relatively easy next week. So, yes, next Sunday, 7 p.m. Will be that one. And we'll probably have a special guest with us to talk about the airlines as well, but that will be confirmed. So, yes. Well, we did it, guys. We got there. We got through a show. We did a show after the issues. So,
yeah.
Woohoo! Or
yeah, nice to meet everyone.
I think so. Yes. All that's left to say is thank you once again, and we're going to say our goodbyes. So, Steve, we'll start with you.
as always, goodbye, my good friends. Have a good week, and we will see you next Sunday.
Ian, you're up next.
Yep. Yeah, just again, thanks to everyone who stuck with us tonight. And good night, everybody. And hopefully see you all in the same place next week.
Definitely. And for myself, off to Wales tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. All that's left to say is continue to look after yourselves, stay safe, and hopefully you'll join us all next week. So for now, have a fantastic week, everybody.